behind the summoning pits.
Hello everybody, welcome back to our week 43 solo Nightfall video. Again, like our last video, which was the Hunter solo, we are now running the Warlock solo. And we are not using Raid, Exotic, or Ascended gear. So, our loadout is the Chance, Plug 1, and the BTRD. Our armor, again, is all faction armor. So, as you may remember, the very first section is not a dark zone. We do not need to worry too much about that just yet. Simply take your time and do not feel pressured to rush through this area.
We need to get through. I'll try to open that gate.
Now, after deploying the Ghost here, we will be entering our first Darkness zone. I personally like to come up here to take out any adds that could be a big threat early on.
Stay over here. I'll get to work.
Now for this section, we are going to do a lot of our fighting from this doorway. Many of the big threats, such as the Hallowed Ones, do not tend to come down this stairway, which makes it a good spot to hide out.
It's reconfiguring. Hang tight.
Now, after the set of knights, you will be getting a lot of thralls. These thralls can pose a serious threat, as they do use a void weapon. The modifiers for this Nightfall, as I previously forgot to mention, are Juggler, Solar Burn, and Void Burn. As a result, the Acolytes will be the biggest threat in this Nightfall. Do not let them gain up on you. Now for the set of wizards that show up right here, you can simply burst them down with a fusion rifle. They're not too difficult to take down, just make sure you have adequate cover.
Sense a pattern. Shouldn't be long.
Finally, at the start of this last phase, you will be getting a large number of knights and cursed thralls. Just make sure to keep your distance and you will be just fine. Now, towards the end of this fight, you will be getting a group of wizards. These wizards can pose a very big threat, However, if you burst them down with a heavy machine gun or with a fusion rifle, you will be perfectly fine. Now, you do need to be careful during this section, as these wizards will aggro you in this area. They are not afraid to come in here, so just be wary of that. Now, once the wizards are down, you are done with the biggest threats left in this area. Simply find a good spot to hide and pick off what remains.
Got it! The gate's opening.
Now, in this little room, the only big threat you really have is a boomer knight on the other side of the room. So as long as you keep an eye on any enemies that are around you, you should be fine. Once all of these smaller enemies are dealt with, you can then proceed to work on the knight. The ogre, however, can provide a serious threat, as the ogre does attack using a void attack.
Sounds like we're getting closer.
Now, once you get to this hallway, you can opt to not take out any of the enemies in this area, and that is exactly what I am going to do. I am simply going to run past the enemies in this area, as they are not necessary to be killed. The same goes with the knights right here. They generally will not attack you until you've gotten closer to them. We are now in the final room for the strike. What you are going to want to do is kill every enemy on the left side of the room. Now, there are a lot of boomer knights in this area, so you are going to want to be careful and take your time. There are also a lot of acolytes that also use the boomerang.
Well, at least it's chained up.
If you need to retreat back to this room, that is a perfectly viable option. Now, before dealing any damage on Fogoth, we are going to take out all of the boomer knights that we can see. Now, once you've taken care of all of the knights in this area, make sure to check that there are no other enemies left on this side of the room. Now, once you have made sure that everything on the left side of the room has indeed been taken out, also make sure to check for any ammo that might be laying. Once you've verified everything is good, you may then begin damage on Fogoth. Now, do be very careful, as Fogoth will begin attacking you as soon as he is unchained, if you are in his line of sight. Now, you can use a sniper for this section. You might do a little bit more damage with the sniper. However, I prefer to use a fusion rifle, as it does not require me to expose myself as much as a sniper rifle would. Now, throughout this section, the only big threat you really have to deal with is from the incoming dropship. Now, the reason I cleared out only the left side is because if you clear out the left side, but do not clear out enemies on the right side, you will not get a spawn on this side of the room. This can be a very big advantage when you need to arm yourself. Now, do be aware that you will still get enemy spawns on the other side of the room, although they are not as big of a threat. as you can see, this fight is simply going to be running from rock to rock to keep getting shots off on Fogoth. Whenever taking damage from Fogoth, I do recommend taking cover as soon as possible, as the damage he deals can stack quite rapidly. If any of the enemies do happen to begin attacking you, you can simply just burst them down without too much of an issue. Now, if you are running a Sunsinger, I do recommend you run Fireborn. As you can tell, Fogoth can kill you quite rapidly. So, as you can see,
Finally,
this week's
the
Nightfall
abomination
is
has
not
been
too
destroyed.
big of an
The
issue to
Vanguard will be
solo.
grateful.
It is mostly about patience
A
and making
creature of
sure
the
you are
dark
aware
has been
of your
slain.
environment.
And our world spared another atrocity. But how many more hive abominations are still out there, growing among the darkness? I fear we may find out all too soon.
And that is how you solo the Nightfall for week 43. A Titan run will be coming up soon after this.